Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Marketing Podcast, your source for all things marketing. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special Reunion 2020 episode. What is that? That's when I had a guest on in the past, and I liked them so much I had to bring them right on back. So today's special return guest is Rebecca Horan. She's the owner and brand strategist over at Plot Twist Brand Strategy. Rebecca, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Adam. I'm so glad to be back.
So excited to get into today's topic, the value of listening to your market. But before we do that, let's get a little bit further into what you're doing over at Plot Twist Brand Strategy. Tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I work with small business owners to build brands with longevity, brands that can help them through tough times like we're seeing today. I help them take up more space in the minds of their customers and clients so that when they're thinking, so that they do think of them, even when they're not right in front of them, helping them become a first choice, first thought rather than an afterthought. And I call it Plot Twist because for so many of us, when we're building our brands, our stories are a very important part of it. It's a very important way and a useful way to connect with your audience through storytelling. And let's face it, most of our stories have had several plot twists along the way. So it's, a lot of what I do is finding those moments of inflection and helping to explain a person's story based on where they've been and where they want to go.
Any type of, any specific niches that you work with or any specific type of small business owners you gravitate towards versus others, just to give, some of the business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives listening to the feel for your work and what you like working on?
Sure. Well, what I love so much about what I do is that I've been exposed to so many different industries and learned about so many different industries. So my clients are in practically any industry you can think of. Where I've niched down is in terms of the service that I offer. So not in terms of the market that I serve, but what I do for any market that comes to me. So, whether it's someone in used car sales, relationships, financial advising, yoga, all of those and more, what I do can apply to each one of them in sort of similar but different ways.
I think that's a great transition. Let's get into it. So the value of listening to your market. I mean, where do you want to start with that one?
Oh, it's a big topic. I can actually break it down into some smaller chunks of advice, but just generally, listening is such a key to being effective at what you do. And I would say that goes beyond marketing. Listening, being a good listener is one of my core values of my own brand. And it's something that is just critical to having an effective business too. Also to being a good friend, to being a good partner, to being a good teacher, to, being good at whatever you do. I can't overemphasize the importance of listening. And I won't make a now more than ever decree here because, listening has always been important. I think anything that we might talk about today, whether it's listening, connection, meeting people where they are, these things have always been important. With what's happening right now around the world, I would argue that we're all sort of seeing the importance of it. It hasn't necessarily become more important, but given that worldwide we're all kind of experiencing something together at the same time, it's really underlined the importance of these things. So,
where do you find some people go wrong with this? Because we've all been told, it's important to listen, it's important to, but what do you find are some of the common mistakes that people make in kind of this process?
Yeah, not slowing down and taking the time to really get to know their market. And I don't just mean in terms of demographics, but I mean really understanding where they're coming from, what's right in front of them, what's worrying them, what their biggest, challenges are, also how they see themselves, how they want to see themselves, what their goals and hopes and dreams are for the future. I think that's just so critical to not just being able to be on point with your messaging, but also having empathy in your messaging and in your offerings so that you're really connecting with them in a very real way. You're not just throwing stuff out there that you think they should want or that they probably want. It's being much more methodical about it too, and really understanding who they are as people and connecting with them on that level.
Wow. And so one of the things when it comes down to listening, I always laugh because people say, because I'm on a podcast that I interview people all day, and I'm like, I listen all day. I'm listening to hear what they want to say. I'm listening to their story. I mean, I feel like that's one of the differences on our podcast. But in my life, I mean, I've done that in other things. When I was a financial advisor, I was like 80% of the meeting. If it was a really good meeting, then I probably listened for 75% of the meeting. And then the rest of the meeting, I maybe asked some questions or I, gave advice, but depending on what the client wanted, right? But I think that core listening piece is critical. What are some things that, or what is a thing tip that somebody can do to maybe improve their skills on listening to what the market wants for them or from them?
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, the top thing that you can do is actually talk to them. And it's so simple. And yet,
well, let me say, in order to do that though, you can't wait, just be waiting for your turn to talk. There's a big difference.
Right. Exactly. Oh, exactly. In terms of listening, but I mean just intentionally going out and interviewing your current clients. And this is a big part of what I do in helping brands develop their brand strategy. I actually interview my clients' clients. And it really helps to kind of get inside their heads and not only to see how they view my client, which actually might be different sometimes in some cases than my client thinks, but to understand all of those things I mentioned. What are their problems? How do they talk about these problems? What do they value most about what my client offers? Maybe what surprised them the most also about working with my client or using their product or service. So really speaking with them whenever possible, one-on-one, and just conducting interviews. If you're doing it yourself, you can conduct your own interviews, and either with current clients or with potential clients who you feel fit into your market. But like you said, it's not just about asking questions and then thinking about what you're going to say while the other person is responding. Really honing that listening skill. It's what makes you a good podcast interviewer. It's I think one of the most important qualities of a good interviewer is being able to sit and listen and digest what someone's saying and then riff off of that instead of just kind of ignoring what they said and going on to a totally different question. So, and I think that, again, that applies to people in any industry and really in any function, is just being able to, hear what they're saying, really, truly hear what they're saying and internalize it and then build on that.
That's awesome. So, Rebecca, that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about Plot Twist brand strategy, I mean, what's the best way for them to reach out?
Yeah, absolutely. They can find me at my personal website. That's probably easiest, RebeccaHaran.com. And they can also go to PlotTwistBranding.com, but they both link up to each other. So either way is an easy way to connect with me.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Rebecca, it's been great having you back on the show for this reunion 2020 episode. Can't wait to have you back on in 2021, see what's going on and what kind of plot twist you have for us. I had to throw it in there at least once. Come on. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to go to the website, missionmatters.com. Give us a subscribe. And also, if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Marketing, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to hear what you're doing and what kind of plot twists you have going on in your life. Had to throw it in again, Rebecca. And thank you again for coming on the show.